Good morning. I'm Don Horning with CrustBuster, and today I'm here with Rodney Pulser, Otis, Colorado, to talk about our deep banding system. Rodney, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great, Don.
Great,
Good to see
great.
you.
Rodney, tell us a little bit about your operation first here at Otis.
Well, we used to live in Nebraska, and then in the early '80s we moved down here to northeast Colorado, and went from irrigated there in Nebraska down here to dry land. And my dad and my uncle, they moved down here and bought farm ground, and so, but they're gone. My dad's gone. My uncle's still alive, but we're just all dry land, and my dad had passed away and my mom, so it's myself and my two older brothers, Jerry and Leonard, and our families. We all farm here together, and
What are the main crops you grow?
we grow dryland corn and white proso millet and wheat.
And wheat, okay.
Yep, them are our three big ones that we do, and it's been working pretty well. This year it's a little bit, with the prices as bad as they are, so but we'll survive.
Yeah, we need to get those prices up, no doubt about that.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
So to buy a deep banding system from CrustBuster, we're here today looking at a 60-foot unit with 24 row units with a total of 48 drops on it.
15-inch centers.
On 15-inch centers, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yep. Yeah, we like to take our corn, and we being from Nebraska, we like the anhydrous, and we always have. And I know a lot of guys don't like it, but we like the results we get with it. And so we've always been looking for the right machine to go in standing stubble in basically a no-till application, and we like to put our anhydrous down with this system. We've looked at other ones, and we've just never been satisfied with the results that they've done. And we've seen this system before, but then when CrustBuster took it over, and we thought this would be a pretty good match, and so we kind of was looking at this system over, and you guys made a 40-footer and a 50-footer, but we like 60-foot.
Yeah.
So we got a hold of you, and you guys said, "Would you build us a 60-foot machine?" And so we ended up making a deal with you and got it, and we've been pretty happy with it.
Well, you know, I mentioned in a 60-foot frame, I'd like to point out the flexibility here that we have. You know, we have a 5-flex unit, and so you have 5 total individual units, and the outside wings are flexing right here, the intermediate, and then your center. And to my knowledge, I think maybe CrustBuster has really the only 5-flex unit on the market.
I think so.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I can really say about this machine, is that for the width that it is, it sure goes in and out of draws, and it just works like, it just flexes so nice, and it stays in the ground. It makes great soil to ground contact, and it just does a real good job for us.
Going over that rough ground, have you ever had an opportunity where the opener actually came up out of the ground? Or
we have not unless it's been a washout where it was just real
deep,
but it's got enough weight on this thing, and the hydraulic downforce and all that on it. A lot of times we don't even have to use the hydraulic downforce because it's just heavy enough, and we're doing it in the spring, and the ground's pretty soft, so we really like the way it works.
So like when you're doing your dryland corn, then do you come in between the rows, or do you try to go over and match out?
What we do is we just go on a slight angle in our stubble, and then we come in and plant our corn basically straight back and forth. And it seems like if you want to try to go the same direction you do with here, we're not RTK or anything like that. And sometimes that corn planter wants to kind of walk with it. So we just go on a slight angle with it in the stubble, and boy, it sure does make a nice bed for it, the corn to go in.
Of course, you're putting nitrogen down, and you know, nitrogen anhydrous really has been and always going to be probably your cheapest source
Well,
of N, you know.
that's exactly right, and that's why we've always stuck with it. And we like the results we get with it. You know, we do straight or other synthetic fertilizers and stuff with it, but we always seem like we really get good results with the anhydrous. And maybe it's just us, but that's what we really like to use on our farm.
What prompted you to go to this unit to start with? What encouraged you and your mindset to want to do this?
We really liked, like I said, we ran some other brands of no-till applicators, but it disturbed the soil a little bit more than what we really liked and knocked down stubble. And we really like the way this machine is with the big discs on it. It goes down 5.5 inches deep, and it just seems like it just works real well, and it leaves a lot of standing stubble, and
you can hardly see where you've gone.
You can hardly see. In fact, we've used it in the springtime in some growing wheat that we have had.
Oh yeah, okay, for top dressing or side dressing.
Yeah, there's been times when we didn't get the fertilizer on like we wanted to. Before, we didn't know, you know, there was times when it was real dry and we didn't know if we was going to have a stand of wheat to go out there to fertilizer, but we got it, and we ran it. The first thing we ran this in was growing wheat in the spring,
right.
And boy, you could hardly even tell where it even went after.
So that turned out real well. Then.
It turned out excellent. I was really impressed with that. Yeah, you could you couldn't hardly even tell where. A week later, you couldn't even hardly even tell where you went.
Yeah.
And boy, that wheat sure did respond to that anhydrous there. It didn't burn it or nothing.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, putting your nutrients at 5.5 inches deep, that's where it needs to be, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's where your root zone is to start with.
Exactly. Yep. I know, like some other brands, don't put it down that deep, and but we could sure tell when that plant hits that or hits that nitrogen down there with its roots, and boy, it just takes off and goes.
Well, that's where 70% of your root zone is anyway.
Yes, sir. Yes.
You know, from the environmental aspect, putting the fertilizer down that deep, and if you do get heavy rains, which we do, you know, you have a lot less runoff. From an environmental standpoint, you keep the fertilizer where it's supposed to be.
Yes, yeah, and it's not running off. You know, very rarely do you get a big enough rain to where it washes it out and that deep. And it's been a great tool for us. I'm glad that you guys decided you'd build a 60-footer for us, and it'll make the tractor beller a little bit once in a while, but it knows it back.
How fast do you try to run with it?
Well, we pull it with a 410 horsepower 4-wheel drive John Deere tractor, and we'll run it 7 miles an hour. Now I know it's designed to go faster than that, but just because you can doesn't mean you should.
So that's probably good advice.
Yeah, but we get a lot of. I mean, we'll go out there and do 50 acres an hour with it, and we get over it real well.
Wow, that's getting over the ground in a hurry, isn't it?
Yeah,
you can do that.
Yep.
You know, when you look at the opener here, you know, kind of a little bit of a close-up here. We're using a 24-inch blade. Has a depth band on the side that controls the depth that you're actually going, that 5.5 inches deep. And then we come along with a cleaning wheel. This is not a gauge wheel, but a cleaning wheel to keep that disc cleaned. And then we come back and we have different closing wheels you can put on it. Now this one's equipped with our crumbler, and we can adjust the angle of that to accommodate about what you want to do in terms of closing.
Yep. And it's on a torsion system, so it flexes. That torsion system works really nice.
Yeah,
it always gives it the right amount of pressure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think with that, I believe we really have gone over this unit, and we're certainly pleased with what it has done for you, Rodney. And I think this tool, being relatively new to the market, has a great future for a lot of different operations.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And I got to say the biggest thing, Don, probably more than anything, even the tool and the design of it. And what we like about it is we like our relationship with CrustBuster.
Okay.
And you and your team down there. I can always make a phone call if I have any issues. That's what the biggest thing. I don't get that with other companies, but I do get it with you, and that's probably one of the biggest things that our family really appreciates is if we have any issues whatsoever, you guys take care of it, and you guys are calling us back and sending guys up, and we really appreciate that.
Well, Rodney, we appreciate your comments here. You know, I'm one of the older team members here, you know, but we've got young ones coming up.
Yes,
under,
right,
you know,
yeah.
Yeah, we have a 60-year history of being in business, you know, and so we plan on that continuing under new leadership and new team members being added every day. You know,
Yeah.
so.